Joining me now is the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States, Oksana Markarova. Ambassador, thank you so much for being with us. The president was eloquent. I saw him later with the vice president of the United States. Of course, Alexei Navalny's murder, let's call it what it is, had just been announced that day as well. But he said, dictators do not take vacations. The House is on a 2-week recess. There are soldiers who are running out of ammo, rationing their ammo in trenches. Tell us, what is the strategy? Is there a strategy to get that bill passed?
Well, nice to be here, Andrea, and thank you for following this story, which is so important for all of us so closely. I can only respond with President Zelensky's quote from his speech in Munich, where he said, "Don't ask Ukraine what is the plan to end the war. Let's all ask ourselves why Putin still can continue that war, why all of us united together democracies cannot double down now and provide Ukraine with everything we need and toughen sanctions and isolation on Russia so we can stop this dictator who is, again, according to the recent polls, an enemy or unfriendly state, Russia, for 70% of Americans. American people understand the threat, and we have to go ahead and win this one for all of us so that at the next security conference in Munich, people are not asking each other, oh my God, what are we going to do? But we all know that we together have the plan on how to win this war, but also prevent any other dictators, because they will see how strong democracies are.
NBC News is reporting that the Biden administration is leaning towards supplying Ukraine with the long-range missiles, the ATACMS that they've long wanted, which would enable the Ukraine to strike into Crimea. This comes after months of requests by Ukraine. Is this on track? What are you hearing? What does it mean to the war effort?
Well, Andrea, I don't have the latest information today, but we have always been clear that we need all the capabilities to reach everywhere on our territory. Not only Crimea, but everywhere where Russia still occupies. And you have seen this during today's destroying Avdiivka, destroying some other places, continuing brutal war crimes and crimes against humanity that Russia keeps doing during the past literally 10 years, not only 2. Today actually is a day when Russia attacked us the first time 10 years ago. So all capabilities, we need them desperately now. And of course, to be able to have a longer range missiles will allow us to reach these ammo dumps and storages of Shahed drones and everything that Russia uses against peaceful civilians and children. And that could be a very important step forward.
Turning to the death of Navalny, as I mentioned, the White House is saying today it is going to announce a major sanctions package against Russia this week to hold them accountable. There's been a lot of leakage in other sanctions. Do you think that this one will have some real teeth in it?
Well, I can only say that, we have to toughen and deepen the sanctions that already are introduced. And frankly, we just have to be bold, and we have to sanction all Russian banks, and we have to do something more, not only to deny them the right to make money to continue this, but to show that actually the isolation of Russia is going to be a real thing if they do not stop all their war crimes. They have been killing people in Russia and outside of Russia for all the time since the breakup of the Soviet Union. It's about time we all tell them stop.
What else do you think should be done? There is talk today from the Estonian Prime Minister, who's got an arrest warrant against her from Putin, that she wants the Russian assets to be seized and used to help rebuild and, well, arm and rebuild Ukraine. She's calling on the EU. There's talk about that in Congress as well. Is that a step? You're a former finance minister. Is that practical?
Well, remarkable Estonian leader who's not only a fighter and the patriot of her own country, but a friend of Ukraine, should wear that as the badge of honor. It's actually Putin should worry about his arrest warrant for kidnapping Russian children and for everything else. But, of course, we have to do everything. We count on the House support, with the continuation of the support. We should also work actively on confiscation of Russian assets. It's a just thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. We have to toughen the sanctions. We have to double down on isolating Russia in all international fora. We have to do everything possible to send a very clear message that we all democratic countries are united, and we also are ready to take decisions. And these decisions are going to be painful for Russia. And there has been a lot done. Look, I just want to thank, American people and President Biden and Congress on a very strong bipartisan basis on all the support that we have received during these 2 years. And that support worked. So let's continue doing what worked. Let's do a little bit more, and let's stop it before he attacks another country, before he does more destruction in Ukraine, before he tortures more innocent people in Ukraine, and before he kills more people in Russia.
And my colleague Richard Engel was was in the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant area. He has talked to the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, saying that that is the most dangerous facility on the planet right now. It's very poorly staffed because they've reduced the staff. It's been occupied by Russia now for almost 2 years. What are your concerns about Zaporizhzhia becoming a disaster, a global disaster?
We are continuously concerned. Actually, that was one of the safest and the largest nuclear stations in Europe when it was in the hands of peaceful and capable Ukrainians. Since March 22, Russians occupied a nuclear station of another country. This is appalling. This is a source of nuclear threat not only to Ukraine, but literally to all our part of the world. And regardless of all the great efforts, we are yet to return it under Ukrainian control. So that's, again, another way where we have to toughen sanctions against Rosatom. We have to kick them out from all the international organizations. And we have to think of creative and maybe unprecedented solutions in order to be able to prevent one more nuclear catastrophe. And we know that Russians, unfortunately, are capable of doing that. They are reckless. They don't have any red lines. And unfortunately, they have shown a number of times that they are ready to violate all possible international and domestic rules.